Some prisons are built to keep people behind bars. Others are built to erase every realistic possibility of escape. Hidden behind reinforced concrete, armed guard towers, electronic surveillance, and layers of steel, these 5 maximum security prisons represent the highest level of incarceration used by modern governments. From the near-total isolation of ADX Florence in the United States to El Salvador's vast CECOT megaprison, each facility reveals a different approach to controlling the world's most dangerous offenders. Behind every locked door lies a system designed where security takes priority above everything else. Darkness inside a maximum security prison is rarely accidental. Every hallway, doorway, and movement is engineered to remove uncertainty. The first facility on this list, ADX Florence, was created for prisoners the United States federal government considers impossible to manage safely in any conventional prison. Opened in the mid-1990s near Florence, Colorado, the institution is the only federal supermax prison for men in the United States. Its purpose is not rehabilitation through communal living but total control through separation. The prison sits within the larger federal correctional complex in Florence, but ADX itself operates under a different philosophy from the surrounding institutions. Every part of its architecture reduces opportunities for violence or escape. Prisoners are housed individually in reinforced concrete cells equipped with concrete beds, desks, and stools. Steel fixtures are permanently secured, while electronically controlled doors limit direct human contact during routine operations. Movement through the prison follows carefully planned procedures intended to minimize interaction between inmates. For many prisoners, a typical day is defined by isolation. In numerous housing units, inmates spend approximately 23 hours each day inside their cells. Recreation, when permitted, generally takes place alone in enclosed outdoor areas designed to prevent communication with other prisoners. Meals are passed through secure openings in the cell doors, and conversations with other inmates are intentionally restricted. The result is an environment where silence becomes part of the security system itself. Technology reinforces every physical barrier. Surveillance cameras monitor housing units around the clock, while multiple electronically controlled security layers separate prisoners from staff and visitors. Escort procedures involve restraints whenever inmates leave their cells, and movements are coordinated to avoid unnecessary contact between prisoners. Since the prison began operating, no inmate has successfully escaped. The federal government assigns prisoners to ADX Florence only after determining that less restrictive facilities cannot safely contain them. Its population has included individuals convicted of terrorism offenses, organized crime leadership, violent assaults within prison, and other crimes considered to present extraordinary security risks. The institution exists as the highest custody level within the Federal Bureau of Prisons rather than as a standard maximum security penitentiary. Thousands of kilometers to the south, another prison has become internationally recognized for an entirely different reason. Terrorism Confinement Center, CECOT, represents one of the largest prison construction projects ever undertaken in the Americas. Built by the Salvadoran government, the facility was designed primarily to hold individuals accused or convicted of membership in violent criminal gangs as part of the country's large-scale security campaign. Unlike ADX Florence, where extreme isolation defines daily life, CECOT emphasizes massive capacity combined with overwhelming physical security. The prison was built to accommodate up to 40,000 inmates. Thick reinforced walls, multiple perimeter fences, watchtowers, heavily armed guards, and continuous surveillance surround the complex. Images released by the Salvadoran government show enormous cell blocks containing rows of metal bunks enclosed behind steel bars and reinforced gates. Armed personnel patrol both inside and outside the facility at all times as part of its layered security structure. CECOT has drawn worldwide attention not only because of its size but also because of its role in El Salvador's anti-gang strategy. International organizations, journalists, and human rights groups have closely monitored conditions inside the prison while documenting the broader security campaign that led to its creation. Although access to the facility remains tightly controlled, official footage demonstrates a prison designed around permanent surveillance and rapid response rather than inmate movement throughout the institution. Across the Atlantic, Russia's Black Dolphin prison follows another model of maximum security. Officially known as Penal Colony No. 6, the prison houses many inmates serving life sentences for particularly serious violent crimes. It has become internationally known because of its exceptionally strict escort procedures and highly restrictive daily routines. One of the prison's most recognizable security practices occurs whenever inmates leave their cells. Prisoners are escorted while bent forward at the waist with their hands restrained behind their backs. According to published reports, this position limits visibility throughout the prison while reducing opportunities to assault staff or attempt escape. Cells remain under continuous observation, and security procedures are designed to maintain constant control over prisoner movement. Unlike facilities focused on short-term disciplinary confinement, Black Dolphin primarily houses prisoners serving life sentences under the Russian penal system. Its population includes individuals convicted of serial murders, terrorism, and other exceptionally serious violent crimes. The prison's remote location, combined with its internal security measures, has made it one of Russia's most closely guarded correctional institutions. Beyond Russia, another prison has earned an international reputation not because of its size, but because of the profile of the people it holds. On the southeastern edge of London stands HMP Belmarsh, one of the United Kingdom's highest security prisons. Opened in 1991 and operated by His Majesty's Prison and Probation Service, Belmarsh was built to accommodate Category A prisoners, the classification reserved for inmates whose escape would pose the greatest threat to the public, the police, or national security. From the outside, Belmarsh resembles a heavily fortified government complex rather than a traditional prison. Multiple perimeter fences, reinforced walls, secure gates, extensive CCTV coverage, controlled access points, and constant staff supervision form several layers of protection. Every movement into and out of the prison is tightly monitored, and visitors pass through rigorous security screening comparable to that found at major transportation hubs. Its inmate population has included convicted terrorists, organized crime figures, murderers, and other prisoners considered too dangerous for lower security institutions. Because of these cases, Belmarsh has often received extensive media attention, although the prison itself remains a functioning correctional institution rather than a symbolic landmark. The security measures in place are intended to prevent escapes while maintaining order within one of the most closely watched prison environments in the United Kingdom. Belmarsh has also held individuals awaiting trial in high-profile criminal and terrorism-related cases. Unlike some supermax facilities where prisoners remain almost entirely isolated, Belmarsh operates under the legal framework governing prisons in England and Wales, balancing security requirements with established prison regulations and oversight. Daily operations include controlled movement schedules, monitored visits, healthcare services, education programs for eligible inmates, and structured routines that vary according to each prisoner's security classification. Even with these operational differences, security remains the defining feature of the institution. Staff undergo specialized training to manage high-risk offenders, while intelligence gathering inside the prison helps identify potential threats before they develop into violence or escape attempts. Information collected from routine monitoring, searches, and inmate behavior contributes to decisions affecting housing assignments and movement throughout the facility. Thousands of kilometers away in Southeast Asia, another prison has long carried a reputation that extends far beyond its walls. Kwang Central Prison, located in Nonthaburi Province north of Bangkok, is one of Thailand's best-known high-security prisons. Established in the early 20th century, it houses inmates serving lengthy prison terms, including life sentences, as well as individuals sentenced to death under Thai law. For decades, Kwang became widely known internationally through the nickname Bangkok Hilton, although that name is informal and not used by Thai authorities. The prison's reputation developed from accounts describing its strict conditions, the length of sentences served there, and the high-security population housed within its walls. Security begins long before reaching the prison buildings themselves. High perimeter walls, guarded entrances, observation posts, and controlled access separate the institution from the outside world. Within the prison, inmate movement is closely supervised, and access between housing areas is carefully controlled. Prison staff maintain constant oversight of prisoner activities while applying procedures designed to reduce opportunities for violence or escape. Historically, reports from former prisoners and official sources have noted that newly admitted inmates serving long sentences were, in the past, placed in leg irons for an initial period of incarceration. Practices within Thai prisons have changed over time, and conditions continue to evolve under the supervision of Thailand's Department of Corrections. Nevertheless, Bang Kwang remains associated with some of the country's highest security detention measures. Death row prisoners are held under separate security arrangements within the prison. Thailand has retained capital punishment under its legal system, although executions have become relatively infrequent compared with earlier decades. The prison therefore continues to serve both as a long-term correctional institution and as one of the country's principal facilities for inmates facing the most severe criminal sentences. Despite their different histories, cultures, and legal systems, these 5 prisons reveal a common principle. Maximum security is achieved through layers of protection rather than a single barrier. Reinforced architecture, restricted movement, electronic surveillance, controlled communication, intelligence gathering, and specially trained personnel all work together to reduce opportunities for violence and escape. Yet each government has chosen a different balance between isolation, capacity, and operational control. ADX Florence relies heavily on prolonged separation of inmates. CECOT emphasizes large-scale incarceration supported by overwhelming physical security. Black Dolphin depends on rigid movement protocols and constant supervision. Belmarsh integrates maximum security into the United Kingdom's prison system for Category A offenders. Bang Kwang combines strict physical security with long-term incarceration under Thailand's correctional framework. Although these institutions differ in design and purpose, they share one defining characteristic. Every wall, corridor, security gate, surveillance camera, and locked cell reflects the same objective: preventing those considered the highest security risks from escaping while maintaining control inside some of the most secure correctional facilities ever constructed. These prisons stand on different continents, operate under different legal systems, and confine different categories of offenders, yet they all demonstrate how modern correctional systems have evolved in response to extreme security risks. Their designs reflect decades of experience with prison violence, escape attempts, organized crime, terrorism, and the challenges of managing inmates who cannot safely be housed in ordinary correctional institutions. The architecture itself serves as the first line of defense. At ADX Florence, reinforced concrete, electronically controlled steel doors, secure ventilation systems, and carefully planned sightlines reduce opportunities for communication or coordinated action between prisoners. Housing units are arranged to maximize staff control while minimizing unnecessary inmate movement. Every physical feature supports the prison's central mission, maintaining security through separation and constant supervision. CECOT takes a different architectural approach. Instead of focusing primarily on individual isolation, the Salvadoran facility was designed around unprecedented scale. Massive perimeter walls, multiple layers of fencing, guard towers, secure checkpoints, and extensive surveillance systems allow authorities to monitor one of the largest prison populations housed within a single correctional complex in the Americas. The prison's design reflects its intended role within El Salvador's broader campaign against organized criminal gangs. Black Dolphin Prison demonstrates how operational procedures can become just as important as physical barriers. Guards follow strict escort protocols whenever inmates leave their cells. Prisoners are searched, restrained, and continuously monitored during movement throughout the facility. These procedures reduce opportunities for surprise attacks and help maintain control over inmates serving life sentences for some of Russia's most serious violent crimes. Belmarsh illustrates another layer of maximum security, intelligence-led prison management. Alongside physical security, prison authorities monitor inmate behavior, communications, and associations to identify emerging threats. Information gathered inside the institution helps officials manage housing assignments, prevent coordinated violence, and respond to potential security risks before they escalate. This approach reflects the complex nature of managing high-risk offenders within an active correctional system. At Kwang Central Prison, long-term incarceration creates its own security challenges. Many prisoners spend decades behind its walls, requiring systems capable of maintaining order over extended periods. Security therefore depends not only on physical infrastructure but also on controlled routines, disciplined movement, and continuous staff oversight. The prison's role in housing inmates serving life sentences and those on death row places it among Thailand's most secure correctional institutions. Despite their formidable reputations, these prisons remain subject to legal frameworks established by their respective governments. Their operations are governed by national laws, correctional regulations, and administrative policies that define how prisoners are classified, housed, supervised, and disciplined. While security is their defining feature, they continue to function as state-run institutions rather than isolated facilities operating outside judicial oversight. The public rarely sees what happens inside these prisons. Access is tightly controlled, media visits are limited, and much of daily life unfolds behind layers of reinforced walls and secure checkpoints. As a result, many of the images associated with these institutions come from official releases, court records, government reports, and carefully documented journalism rather than unrestricted observation. What emerges from those verified sources is not a picture of constant chaos, but one of routine. Doors open and close according to fixed schedules. Movements follow predetermined procedures. Surveillance operates continuously. Every activity, from meal distribution to medical appointments, is structured around minimizing risk. In maximum security prisons, predictability itself becomes a security measure. Each institution also reflects the priorities of the country that built it. The United States developed ADX Florence to isolate inmates considered exceptionally dangerous within the federal prison system. El Salvador constructed CECOT as part of an unprecedented effort to detain large numbers of suspected gang members. Russia's Black Dolphin houses prisoners serving life sentences for particularly grave offenses. The United Kingdom's Belmarsh secures Category A prisoners under its established correctional framework. Thailand's Kwang continues to hold inmates serving the country's most severe criminal sentences. Taken together, these 5 prisons represent some of the highest levels of physical security used in modern corrections. While their methods differ, they all rely on the same fundamental principles: controlled movement, restricted communication, reinforced construction, continuous surveillance, and highly trained staff. In places where a single security failure could have national consequences, every procedure is designed to reduce uncertainty, and every locked door is part of a much larger system built to ensure that those inside remain there. For correctional authorities, maximum security is not measured by thicker walls alone. It is measured by how effectively an institution can prevent escapes, protect staff, control violence, and safely manage inmates who present the highest security risks. The 5 prisons examined here illustrate different solutions to the same challenge, shaped by each country's laws, correctional philosophy, and security priorities. ADX Florence remains the United States' highest security federal prison, relying on prolonged individual confinement, reinforced infrastructure, and tightly controlled movement to manage inmates considered too dangerous for other federal institutions. Its operational model has influenced discussions about supermax prisons around the world, particularly regarding the balance between institutional security and the effects of long-term isolation. CECOT represents a different model entirely. Rather than concentrating on a relatively small number of exceptionally dangerous inmates, the facility was designed to incarcerate tens of thousands of alleged or convicted gang members within a single, heavily guarded complex. Its scale has made it one of the most recognizable symbols of El Salvador's current security strategy and one of the largest high-security prisons ever constructed in the region. Russia's Black Dolphin prison continues to house inmates serving life sentences for some of the country's most serious violent crimes. Its strict escort procedures, constant supervision, and highly restrictive daily routines have made it one of Russia's most closely guarded penal institutions. Although public access is limited, verified reporting consistently identifies it as one of the country's most secure facilities. In the United Kingdom, HMP Belmarsh remains a central part of the prison system for Category A offenders. Its combination of reinforced physical security, intelligence-led management, and close operational oversight demonstrates how maximum security can function within a broader correctional framework that includes courts, inspections, and established prison regulations. Bang Kwang Central Prison continues to occupy a unique place within Thailand's correctional system. Known for housing long-term prisoners and death row inmates, it has developed a reputation over decades as one of Asia's most secure prisons. While prison policies and conditions have evolved over time, its role as a high-security institution has remained consistent. Although these prisons differ in architecture, capacity, and operating procedures, they reveal a shared reality: maximum security incarceration is built on layers of control. Physical barriers alone are not enough. Surveillance, staff training, prisoner classification, intelligence gathering, and carefully planned routines all contribute to maintaining security inside facilities where the consequences of failure could be severe. These institutions are often discussed because of the crimes committed by some of the people held inside them. Yet the prisons themselves tell another story, one of engineering, logistics, policy, and continuous risk management. Every reinforced wall, electronically controlled gate, observation tower, and security protocol reflects years of planning intended to answer one question: how can authorities safely confine individuals considered the highest security risks? For most people, these places will never be seen firsthand. Their daily operations remain largely hidden behind concrete, steel, and layers of restricted access. What is publicly known comes through official records, government information, court proceedings, inspections, and carefully documented reporting. Those verified sources reveal institutions where routine replaces unpredictability and where security shapes nearly every aspect of daily life. Across North America, Central America, Europe, and Asia, these 5 prisons stand as examples of the most secure forms of incarceration currently in operation. Despite their differences, they all serve the same essential purpose: to maintain custody of inmates considered too dangerous or too high risk for ordinary correctional facilities while protecting prison staff, the public, and the integrity of the justice system.